You're listening to a podcast from the Finnish Football Show. Yes, it's the Finnish Football Show. I'm Mark Wiltshire, joined today, as always, it seems lately, by Keke Mullari. Hi, Keke.
No moikka.
Good to see you. Keke is freshly back from a visit to the motherland over here. I don't know how fresh you're feeling at the moment, mate.
I'm feeling pretty fresh, considering I was swimming in an Avanto yesterday. So, yeah, I'm still trying to warm up after that.
I think the Avanto kind of prepares you for winter. Once you've been in there a couple of times, you don't feel the cold around your ankles quite so much.
And I'll tell you what, I don't know what it's like where you are, mate, but I got the night bus from Jyväskylä down to Helsinki last night, and all along the way through Lahti and all those southern cities and towns, there was a big dump of snow. So everyone's woken up to a nice blanket of snow this morning.
Yeah, they have. Like in the south and the east, it's like 25 centimetres. But around here, it's been clear. Nothing else. We've had enough. You know what? Winter can do one now. I'm really sick of it.
Yeah.
It feels like it has never ended. There's been snow on the ground since the end of October, and it's now early April. So, you know.
And it's time for football.
Well, yeah, it is time for football. Let's hope they've got the snow off the pitches. But we're gonna look today more at the international scene, looking back at last week's Huuhkajat game against Estonia and some of the aftermath, I suppose, of those two games, and also look forward to the Helmarit, who have got their Euro 2025 qualifying games coming up. So we'll go through all of that and hopefully hear something from Mark Hayton about his trip to Helsinki to watch that Estonia game against Estonia as well. So why don't you, Keke, just for, I don't know, good housekeeping, we previewed this game in the last episode. Why don't you take us through the Estonia match?
Sure. I mean, yeah, it was, for all intents and purposes, a meaningless friendly, but we played the game, and yeah, there was a much changed lineup, as you would expect. I don't know whether Rive was still under pressure or feeling the pressure, because as I said, there wasn't really anything to play for except for pride and getting one over our Baltic Sea neighbours, cousins, whatever you want to call them. But yeah, much changed lineup. Jesse Jordan in goal. Ilmari Niskanen came in. Arttu Hoskonen and Richard Jensen were the centre backs, a pairing that had been muted for the Wales game. But yeah, we had to wait until this game to see those two play together. Piru Soiri was out on the left in a back four, and then in midfield, Robin Ludd. He was the only one who kept hold of his place, or started the Estonia game, having started the previous game against Wales. Robin Ludd was named as captain as well. You had Kaan Kairanen in the middle and Anssi Suhanen on the left wing. And then up top, you had Fredrik Jensen, Benjamin Chelman, and Oliver Antman. So, yeah, I mean, we were talking about those, quite a few of those names before the Wales game kicked off. But yeah, we got to see those players. To be fair, Estonia started the game quite brightly and had a chance after, what was it, 10 or 15 seconds or so. But yeah, just didn't really trouble Jesse Jordan too much, and yeah, the Finland sort of settled into the game, I guess. The pitch didn't look all that. It was
the pitch was a disaster, wasn't it? I mean, understandable. Like, we've just been whining about how heavy this winter's been. It's understandable, but geez.
Yeah, it did look a bit rough. It wasn't really conducive to a smooth passing game. But yeah, I mean, Finland sort of settled down, had a bit of a go. Yeah, and you know, we, I was really hoping that we would absolutely smash them, and put a bit of confidence back on on our face, but smile on our face and a bit of confidence in for us again. But yeah, we had to wait. We had to wait quite a while. I think it was around, what was it, 30 odd minutes? Yes, yeah, just after about 30 minutes. Benjamin Sherman was bundled over in the box, and Finland was awarded a penalty kick. Fredrik Jensen stepped up, saw his penalty kick saved, but managed to smash in the rebound, and that was 1-0. Yeah, it was. I mean, I don't know if you saw it, mate, or if you've got any thoughts on it. But people were saying the penalty was a bit soft or whatever. But yeah, referee saw fit to give it, and we went 1-0 up.
Yeah, I did watch the game. I mean, it was, in general, it was a bit of a dog of a game as well. I mean, the pitch didn't help. The ball wasn't running. Okay, it's the same for both teams. Everyone's played on bad pitches before, but when we really needed a performance after the Wales game to kind of, I don't know, at least end this period of games on a bit of a positive, and it was a bit of a damp squib. I didn't really enjoy it that much. I didn't make any notes. It wasn't really a protest, but I just wasn't really excited enough to make notes and follow the game as closely as I might. I might have had a couple of beers and put my notepad down.
Yeah, I mean, there was the odd thing to get excited about. I mean, just 8 minutes later, after that first goal, Oliver Antman was doing his thing down the wing there, and he put a cross in, and it was I think it was Freddie Jensen again got to the ball, and it sort of bundled its way over the Estonia goal. He made a bit of a hash of it, and I was quite pleased for Freddie, to get a couple of goals, but UEFA put it down as an own goal.
Well, I think he doesn't even get an assist, really, does he? Because he maybe gets a second assist, because he headed the ball, I think, or played the ball forward towards the goal. The defender then headed it up onto the underside of his own bar, and it came down and hit the keeper's hand before going in. So Freddie was almost as far away from that goal as I was.
Indeed, yeah. He looked a little bit embarrassed celebrating it, to be honest. Yeah. But yeah, 2-0 up. I mean, yeah, it was 2-0 up against Estonia at home. This is what you're looking for, really, isn't it? But it was one of those, like one was the rebounded penalty, and the other one was the dodgy ping pong own goal off their own keeper. So it was a little bit tricky to get excited about it. But yeah, I mean, we did have the ball in the net a third time. Oliver Antman scored after 57 minutes, but that was ruled out for offside. And yeah, it's after then it sort of it petered out a bit. There wasn't really much going on. But we did have time to concede. Estonia scored just on the hour mark, just after that Antman's goal was ruled out, and yeah, they sort of seemed to go back up the pitch. They got a corner. Whipped it in, and they scored from the corner. It was 2-1, and I mean, there was a raft of substitutions from both sides.
It was officially classed as a kind of well, they called it Ma or but kind of like it's not a competitive game. I suppose it is a friendly, really, to all intents and purposes. But so both teams made six changes, which back in the day used to be the ruination of a penalty, and nowadays it's not far.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, we saw Peltola came on, Nikolai Alho came on, Daniel Hawkins, Rasmus Schüller, Pukki and Poyanpalo came on.
And then Peltola went back off again.
Yeah. Poyanpalo, he had a shot like towards the end, but yeah, the game sort of fizzled out, and we came away with a 2-1 win. I mean, I was just asking you before, mate, if you knew what the attendance was, because some of the pictures seem to show quite an empty Olympic Stadium. But I think you said there was 15,000 in there.
I thought I heard something like 12 or 15,000. I mean, I'm looking now at an app that is telling me the capacity of the ground and not the actual attendance, which is very helpful.
Yeah, Well, the capacity of the ground is how many tickets they did sell, because
Yeah,
everyone was expecting a playoff final against Poland.
yeah, quite right.
But
Um,
seriously though, the people who actually were at the match said, despite the attendance being quite low, the atmosphere was brilliant. The Pohjois-Karjala were doing their thing. They were in good voice and cheering the lads on. And yeah, it was quite a special evening for Pohjois-Karjala, really, because long-time capo Mika has sort of hung up his megaphone and called it a day. So he won't be climbing on the scaffold and conducting all the fans anymore. He's
is
been
he
quite.
too old for that, all that nonsense, or?
I don't know. I don't know if it's that, mate. I don't know if it's that. Let's just say he's exploring other opportunities that will keep him away from Helsinki for a while.
Okay, good for
Yeah,
him.
but he's already telling us that he'll be back for some Helmarit matches. So he's not gone completely.
Right. Okay.
But
Okay.
yeah, it was quite nice. There was a Halaleto and did a little video showed Robin Lod and Nulli and Lucas Radetsky going up and giving Mika a bit of a present to see him off and a big hug. So
Hmm.
that was really nice. And I must say that he does leave the megaphone in safe hands. So there's a couple of guys who'll take over from him, and don't no need to worry. The singing will continue abreast, mate. So it's all good.
You mentioned before there about how many people were in the ground, and one of those people was our very own Mark Hayton. So he sent us some pictures before the game, and it looked very empty. But by the time the game started, it was looking a bit fuller. But let's hear now from Mark and what he experienced at the Finland Estonia game.
Hey, buddy. Yeah, so the Estonia game. Interesting, it was. I think it wasn't one that'll live long in the memory, that's for sure. Before the game, all the talk was about whether Rive would last or whether he would announce something during the game. In the walk up to the stadium, yeah, I felt sorry. There's a lot of promotional activity going on for like the Veikkausliiga and for a lot of other Finnish football related stuff, and there just wasn't really a crowd gathering. The march was, rambunctious as usual, which was good to see. But yeah, in the sort of party fan zone outside the stadium, it was a bit dead, which was a bit of a shame. Then we got into the game. I think the official attendance was like just under 13,000, and I think we spotted with our mates probably, I think we thought it was about a third full, so probably a bit less than that. One thing we noticed actually in the setup was the pitch was an absolute disgrace. It was like a potato field. When the lads were out there doing the warm up, and they were doing shuttle runs, 3 or 4 of them dug into the turf and just ripped pieces of grass off it. So the pitch was in a really, really bad state. For all the press that we'd seen around how much it costs to keep and to maintain, that wasn't good. And then we got into the game, and the game, partly because of the pitch also, but partly because of the general atmosphere, it wasn't anything really to write home about. We got a penalty early doors that settled the nerves. Jensen's penalty was really poor, but he put the rebound in, so we were quite happy. And then about half an hour in, Antman has a good run down the left-hand flank, sticks it in. Jensen at the back stick, hits a shot, hits the bar, hits the kid in the back of the head. Keeper flaps at it and somehow ends up crossing the line for 2-0. From then on, we did, I think, what the usual Rive tactics are. So we kept the ball a lot, moved them around, threatened occasionally every now and again. If we'd have had better shooting boots or the pitch had been better, maybe we'd have got something more, a couple more goals out of it. But we didn't really look like we were going to dominate. And every now and again, Estonia had a counter-attack that looked like it might really hurt us. So we were the better team, but not by streets and streets. Second half, much of the same. But on the hour mark, Estonia got a goal back. Well worked corner, although it's a pretty low cross. Anier wins it at the near post, flicks it on back post. Tam just taps it in. The marking for both those guys was pretty bad. But having said that, Estonia never really looked like nicking it, and every time we ran at them, so Antman and Chelman and Koron, and they all had pretty effective dribbles forward where they would beat 3 or 4 Estonia players. If we'd have had a better finish on us, I think we'd have done well. I think Jolle had a good chance towards the end. Antman had a goal ruled out for a really small offside after a good 1-2 with Chelman. So we were, from the footballing perspective, pretty good. But the game was, it was what it was. I think a lot of us had our hopes up for Wales, and we were still feeling the hit from Wales. Next up, we play Portugal as their prep for the Euros. I can't see that going well with how we're playing. There's no news about Canerva and his future yet, so I think everybody's just waiting to see what happens next. I mean, the fans that were there did make a good atmosphere. It was really good to see Niskanen back. He's got bigger, so he looks like he might be a really effective fullback / wingback in the future. I like the look of him. Antman looks like he's recovered pretty well from his injury, which is good. Apart from that, there wasn't really that much to write home about. Maybe the Jensen brothers. So yeah, Freddie took his finish well from the rebound, but at the back, I think we looked more. Richard Jensen looked pretty solid, and we looked a bit more physically able to cope with the threats. Although again, Estonia really weren't up to much in this one, so it was a good night. Couple of beers, good atmosphere, good singing and shouting, but not a great deal on the pitch, and still a lot of questions about how we move forward as a team. So that's the report from Olympia Stadion.
Okay, Keke, what's the aftermath been from that 2-1 victory for Finland? Beforehand, we speculated about the future of Rive, Markku Kanerva. How has that game had any impact on the speculation?
Well, I think we're still waiting for the dust to settle, really, Mark. There was some noises coming out of Palolito that they were going to wait until after the Easter break before any sort of decision was made. We're now past the Easter break.
Yeah.
There's been no news whether Rive will stay or go or whatever. There's been a lot of noise from various sections of the Finland support, either for Rive staying or against it, and looking for a new direction. But the support are not really the ones who make the decisions, are they? So until there's anything official, it's all just speculation, mate. But
he's got a contract until the end of the year, right?
he has, yes.
So potentially through those Nations League games.
Yeah. So there's Nations League coming up. There's 2 friendlies coming up. I think first one we're away to Portugal in June, followed by a couple of days later away to Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the autumn, you've got the Nations League. So whether they do stick with him through that or whether they choose to look elsewhere remains to be seen. But we laboured over the fact quite a bit in the last episode, and if there's no outstanding candidate, is it such a bad thing to let Rive have another crack? You know what I mean? At the Nations League, it is a tougher league. We have been promoted. A bit of a reset is required, but can Rive be the man to conduct his own reset? We'll have to see. But
Simo Valakari was mentioned by you, by Mark, by others. Has anything been said about that? Any other names been thrown out there?
No, not that I've seen, mate.
Okay.
I mean, and I've just out of my own interest, I've spoke to loads of people, and I've said, asked the same question: who would you choose? Who would you go after? And yeah, there's not been many names thrown about. One that was mentioned was the most recent guy to leave the Swedish national team post. His name escapes me at the moment, but I think he's still he's still out of work. So there's that was one name, but apart from that, we've not been inundated.
No.
So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, just on a little side note, I wanted to mention, you said about the aftermath of the game. I mean, yeah, we all know what happened against Wales, and we've just been through what happened against Estonia. But it seems that we spoke before the Wales game about our players being in form, and it seems they've all gone back to their clubs and after the international and continued picked up where they left off and continued their excellent form for their clubs. I mean, we've had in the last couple of days, we've had Oliver Antman. He's scored for Norgesland. Miro Tenho, who I think would agree with us, didn't cover himself in glory against Wales. He's gone back to Djurgården in Sweden and popped up with a goal from defence. So he's managed to put all that behind him. Daniel Hawkins scored for Vålerenga. Benjamin Chalman, he netted for his Polish side, Cracovia. And Jo Poyampalo, he scored for Venezia at the weekend as well. So yes, you know, they've all gone back and picked up where they left off, mate. Just need to,
which is brilliant. Thanks for that, lads.
Yeah.
Well, it's good that they keep their performance levels up. Next time, bring those boots with you when you're playing for the national team. That's
it. I mean, you know, we all want to see them do well, and yeah, if they are performing for their club, hopefully that does translate to the national team for the next games.
Someone who didn't have such a good return from international football was Rasmus Schüller, friend of the show, and that looked like a really nasty accident. Just explain what happened to him, and listener, just thank yourself lucky we don't have the footage to share with you. And listen, and if it's the podcast, then it's audio only, because you don't really want to see what happened to him.
No, I mean that was pretty nasty, mate. He basically it was first game of the Allsvenskan season. Rasmus has lined up for Djurgården. They were away. Where were they? They were away at IFK Gothenburg, and yeah, he's the game's barely got started. It's only 20 odd minutes old. Rade's looked to stretch for the ball. Gothenburg players sort of coming from the side, sort of behind Rade a little bit. Rasmus has sort of been flicked up sort of into the air. When he's come down, his leg has got caught behind him, and he's landed with his leg folded back under his own body. So he's
under him and also out to the side at a really weird angle. It looked awful.
Yeah, not nice. He spent quite a while, you know, on the pitch. Obviously the medical staff come over, and he did sort of get up and with help sort of hobble off the pitch. But
did he from that?
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
okay.
But with but he's had a sort of all the scans and X-rays and all that business, and he's actually been operated on already. He was operated on yesterday. They've decided, I don't know the full extent of the injury, but yeah, you know, the way he's sort of leg hyperextended, his knee sort of folded back. I don't know if it's got something to do with his knee, but yeah, he's been operated on already, and he's got a little bit of a road to get back to full fitness. So yeah, we won't be seeing much of Rade for the spring, or who knows how long it'll be. But you know, obviously, we wish him well and a speedy recovery, mate. But yeah,
I know you were in touch with him after it happened, and you got a reply from him. I'm a bit disappointed he hasn't kept you up to date with the follow up of the operation. Really,
the full medical details.
But yeah, of course, we wish him well, and hopefully get back this season.
Yeah, exactly that, mate. That'll be the target, I think. And you know, like as I said, we've got those international fixtures in June. Who knows if that's too soon, or if we can see Rade make a return for those. But I certainly hope so, because we certainly could use his bite in midfield, mate.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's probably for now enough on the men's national team. But coming up over the next week, the women's team, the Helmarit, have got a couple of Euro 2025 qualifiers coming up. Shall we first go through the squad there and then sort of talk about who they're coming up against in those games?
Yeah, so just running through the squad quickly. Goalkeepers, Milamai Majasari, who's been doing really well in Belgium. Tinja-Riikka Korpela. Anna Taminen of Hammarby was initially named, but she's had to withdraw. She's got some health issues. She's had to withdraw. So she's been replaced by Talaslatti, who's now in France. I think she's playing in France. So, yeah, Katarina Talaslatti comes in. Across the back, Eli Pikkujämsä, she was named in the squad initially, but she's also had to pull out. She was injured in a league game in the States over the weekend, so she hasn't travelled to Finland to meet up with the rest of the girls. But then we've got Natalia Kuikka, Peltonen, Emma Koivisto, Eva Nyström, Johanna Tynnilä, Anni Haatikainen, and then
good to see her back in the squad.
No, that's it. Yeah, we got into the midfield: Nora Heruam, Evelina Summanen, Ria Erling, Katarina Kossola, Olga Attinen, Emma Peukerinen. Who we got next? Una Sirren, Vilma Koivisto, and then up front in the attacking positions: Linda Sällström, Sani Franci, Jutta Rantala, Heidi Kollanen, Una Sevenius, and Lotta Lindström, who, since she moved to England in the Women's Championship, has been doing really well. She's got a couple of goals for her new side, London City Lionesses, and they're very impressed with her down there. So, yeah, that's that form has seen her into the Helmarit squad.
Have you been there to wave your Finland flag at her yet?
Yeah, but we were too early. We went down, the whole family, because it's not too far from us. We went down, they play at Dartford FC. So we went down there when they had their FA Cup game a few weeks ago against Liverpool, and we saw Emma Koivisto. She came over and had a little chat after the game. But yeah, Lotta wasn't there yet. So, but we'll be back. Yeah, we'll go down there and go down and keep an eye on her.
I don't doubt it. It seems to me, apart from those couple of changes from players dropping out, there's not really any surprises. It feels to me like this Helmarit team has had its churn or its evolution maybe during last year even, and it started to settle down by the end of the year.
Yes.
And now, you know, you look at the team and think it's good. It's what you know. It's. There's not anyone that you think we're really missing that person.
No, you know, I really like Eli Pikkujämsä. It's a shame that she's been injured. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I think we've got enough in there to cover for her. So yeah, I think there's strength in every area of the pitch in that squad, mate. It's decent.
Any any of them done anything of note for their club sides recently? I know I'm putting you on the spot, but you do know this stuff. So
no, yeah, I mean, I have mentioned recently how well a couple of them have been doing, but the standout performer really at the moment is Jutta Rantala in Leicester City in the WSL. She's like, honestly, goals, assists. She's pulling the strings there for Leicester City. So yeah, doing really, really well. Evelina Summanen again at Spurs, doing really well. I mentioned when I just read out the squad, Milamai Majasari is keeping untold clean sheets in Belgium. So yeah, they're all doing really well. The Nordic leagues have obviously just kicked off. So yeah, a few of the girls in Damallsvenskan will start getting some play time now, and yeah, we'll keep an eye on them as well. But yeah, they're all doing really well, mate.
very good. I think they're going to need to be doing well.
Yeah.
Over the coming weekend, because there's a couple of tough games coming up. It starts on Friday the 5th with an away game at Norway.
Yes.
And I'm just digging out so it's a kick-off at 7:00 Finnish time in the evening. And I dare say that will be shown on Yle. So I'll put the link to that in the blog post notes for this. We said, and it was you and me actually. We talked about this last time about how it looks like a tough group. I think Norway, obviously, they have Arda Hegerberg in their squad, back in their squad. One of the sort of standout players in the women's game around the world.
Yeah, she played.
Went on form.
Yeah, she's at Lyon, who in France, who are one of the biggest clubs in the women's game. And when you look through the Norway squad, mate, there's they're all playing at a high level. I mean, you've got girls at Arsenal. Emma Koivisto will be familiar with a couple of them because there's a couple of the Norwegians are playing at Brighton and Hove Albion. There are other WSL clubs as well. Chelsea, one of Olga and Evelina's teammates, Celine Bizet. She's at Tottenham. She's a Norwegian forward, so they'll be familiar with her. But the ones who are not in WSL are plying their trade in Spain at sort of Barcelona and Atletico Madrid. You know what I mean? So yeah, they're right at the top in the top clubs, mate. So it's not going to be easy, but I think Helmarit they've earned the right to have a go against these better nations, so-called better nations. I mean, Norway are currently ranked 16th in the FIFA rankings. Helmarit are sitting around 27th. So yeah, 10 or so places between them. But
you're a star. I was just trying to look that up while you were talking, and I couldn't quite find the right words to search for. So good on you. So they're not in the strongest sort of half a dozen teams out there, but still on their day, that's going to be a challenge for the Helmarit.
It is, yeah. But as I said, mate, the girls have earned their right to play against these sort of oppositions. So yeah, let's see how it goes. It's 0-0 at the start, and we'll see how we get on.
That game's followed by a home game against Italy on the 4th. That kicks off at the Bolt Arena in Helsinki at 7:15. That's next Tuesday.
Yeah.
What about Italy? How are they ranked in the world standings?
So there's a couple better than Norway. They're 14th currently.
Okay.
In the FIFA women's rankings. So
is that world? That's for all the teams in the world.
Yes, mate. Yep.
Okay, so when you filter out some of the other teams from sort of South America and other parts of the world that are strong, it puts them quite close to the top, I guess.
Yes, mate. They're a decent side. I mean, they're almost their squad is almost exclusively playing in Italy. Tinja Korpela, who's now at Roma, will be familiar with a few of them. There's quite a few Roma players in the Italy squad. So yeah, she'll be able to warn her Helmarit teammates for who the dangers are there. But yeah, it's Italy have got. There's a little bit of youth, but it is quite an old squad on average, I would say. So yeah, some of our younger players might be a bit nippy for them, but yeah, we'll wait and see what Marcos Aloranta has in store and for the tactics, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I mean,
it's good to see them having these competitive games coming back round again.
Exactly.
It's always more exciting, isn't it, to see competitive games that really mean something.
Yeah, and it's it would be nice to get some points on the board over these two fixtures. I mean, the next two fixtures are in end of May, beginning of June, I think, which is
well, those next two fixtures both against Holland, you mean?
Yeah, double header, double header.
Man alive.
Holland away and Holland at home. And
brutal.
Yeah, the Helmarit are on tour because the Holland home game is Olympia Stadion in Tampere. So
yeah, that's true. So it is.
Yeah, so yeah, they're not playing all their games in Helsinki. They're going on tour. So I think is great. It gives a lot of fans the opportunity to go and see them in maybe a more local.
Yeah, I'm thinking actually that's just a couple of hours down the road. That said, that's my boy's birthday, so let's see.
Perfect birthday present for
Yeah, for a 21-year-old that doesn't like football. He'll love it.
You have failed in life.
Well, what can I say? He has other qualities, just
Yeah.
not his football supporting ability.
Oh, mate.
All right. Well, I guess that we should be back in after those games anyway. I don't know exactly
will.
when, listener. And we'll look back at those. So, Keke, let's make sure that you and I are taking notes.
Yep.
No excuses for the competitive games.
No, that's it, mate.
I'm telling myself, really.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that just about wraps up this international episode of the Finnish Football Show. Listener, we're going to do our very best to get a Veikkausliiga preview episode to you, before the Veikkausliiga starts. Otherwise, it's not much of a preview.
Which is very soon.
It is very soon. It's Saturday the 6th, I think, of the first games. It start with a full fixture list as well. So,
Which is nice, yeah.
yeah, it is. It is. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be chilly up here, but we have Oulu coming. So, Max, if you're listening, that's 3 points you're down already. And I reckon also not just Max from Noniinits Jalkapallo blog, but also Ashley Coffey, who I chatted to during the Liga Cup. We're gonna give you a bit of bants. It's all good stuff. They like it as well.
That's it, yeah.
Callum Ward as well. They like to have a little bit of fun with us. So we'll have some fun with them, and then probably take all the points from us as well. That'll teach me. Keke, thanks for being here.
Ole hyvä, näkemiin.
And until next episode of the Finnish Football Show, listener, thanks for listening. Goodbye. You've been listening to the Finnish Football Show. You can find us online at finishfootballshow.com. Remember to subscribe to the show wherever you're listening or watching. You can follow the Finnish Football Show page and group on Facebook and also on Instagram. Escape to Suomi on Twitter is now Finnish Football Show on X. And you will find us on Blue Sky at Finnish Football Pod. See the links in the episode description, along with the links to the Finnish Football Show merch.